Welcome to Procurement Says No episode 40.
Yowza, yowza, yowza.
Hello, Eduardo. How the devil are you, sir?
Well, I'm super. It's bleak midwinter morning here in the UK. Very, very dull and grey.
Lovely. That's how we like it. Dull and grey. Just like 80% of procurement leaders. We are on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, or the other way around. And you can ask Grok to make naked pictures of us. And of course, for a limited time only, we are still on the Alchemie Network. And we're on TikTok, which we said we'd never do. And you can buy a t-shirt from us on eBay or get in touch with lovely Ed. And we have a website. And we have a blog, which is on the website. And we really ought to publish a new blog. We have a few in the bank. So I'll have a look in the bank and we'll publish one of those coming soon. Subscribe today.
I'm going to say, seriously, folks, sign up on the website and we'll send you our newsletter. They're good, honest.
They are good. They're very good. They're written by AI. Sorry, they're written by Ed.
Yes. AI Ed.
Edbot. And in fact, if you are one of our regular downloader/listeners, if you are the listener, please, can you like the linked up posts when we put things on, like and comment, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, because apparently it all helps the algorithm.
Yes, hashtags are the future, children.
So like, subscribe, and all that. And if you sign up on our website, as Eduardo says, you will get access to an exclusive newsletter and early access to our very, very regular blogs, which happen occasionally.
And a Grok adjusted photo of Rich.
Yes.
Apparently that's just been binned, isn't it? That's not coming to the UK anymore.
Yes, it's a shame. Anyway, first of all, we were going to have some special guest stars today, but they haven't showed up.
No.
So we'll just carry on without them.
Must be the time difference.
Yes, never mind. So let's go straight to the news. Brought to you, sort of, by CIPS. Over to Ben.
Hello, I'm Ben Farrell from SIPS, and here's the news.
So today we have news, and we have more news. The second bit of news is all about our favourite online procurement cult, Alchemie Network, which after some amazing early success is going to be pulling the plug. So we had invited Harold and Alex on to explain everything, and but they haven't shown up. Oh, that could be them.
This is from a +971 number. I can't even stop it. There we go. I put my phones in the hall. Phones are in the hall. My iPad's on Do Not Disturb, and it still comes through. Spam twats.
Yes, it's integrated technology. What do you get if you cross integrated technology with a procurement leader? Chaos! So there you go. So we had invited Harold and Alex on, but they're probably trying to do some stuff with Grok while they've still got the chance to do it. So, meanwhile, here's some more news. This one is about AI. I feel we're going to have a lot of discussion about AI today, Ed.
Yes.
This one is from Tonkean. And we had Michael Pearson from Tonkean on the podcast back in episode 25 when we were in Vegas, baby. We're ahead of the curve again, Ed. Ahead of the curve again. So, agentic AI is officially entering the enterprise mainstream, says Tonkean. According to new independent research from SNS Insider, the enterprise agentic AI market is projected to grow from $3.8 billion in 2025 to $71.9 billion in 33. What?
Woo! Jump on that train.
Let's get on board. Driven by autonomous workflows, intelligent automation, and multi-agent orchestration. Hell yes.
Have you ever thought that they could do a better marketing job on that?
What, instead of just talking cash?
What does that all mean? It's AI is happening and it's going to be blah, 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 blah. I don't understand a word you said, But AI is happening.
I'm not even sure if it's true, because it says, more importantly, Tonkean is named as a key player alongside companies like Microsoft, Google, ServiceNow, Salesforce, and AWS. And the report validates what we're already seeing inside large enterprises. AI isn't coming from isolated co-pilots, it's coming from orchestrated agents that can act, reason, and execute across systems, and from business-led control, governance, and real operational outcomes. Agentic AI is no longer experimental, it's becoming core infrastructure. Boom! I don't know, is that true? Integrated AI? Not from separate bots? Really?
It seems very complicated, doesn't it?
I'm sure people are just going to be using Copilot or da-da-da or whatever. What do you think, Ed?
Well, it's interesting because I know we talk a lot about AI. I think we talk a lot about the hype around it, but it doesn't mean we don't believe that AI is happening. So Ben Farrell posted on LinkedIn on the 9th of January. He wrote about AI and its role in procurement. And he said, with organizations finally understanding the value procurement brings, you'd think these figures would be higher. But globally, right, listen to this, only 35% of leaders are prioritizing procurement and supply chain management as an area for AI investment. That doesn't really surprise me. Leaving procurement trailing behind finance at 43% are investing, data analytics 39%. That is very surprising because that's a low number. And cybersecurity at 38%. What Ben is saying, he's really surprised that we're not investing in AI in procurement. Okay. So I've responded to Ben and the stream of responses. Obviously gets loads of responses because of his position with SIPs, and rightly so. I think I was the only person that came back with a comment about finite budget. I put the challenge, as always, for procurement, that it is competing for finite budget within its organisation. So when it comes to, for example, investing in AI, the procurement team is one of many departments competing for funds. So everybody is saying AI, procurement, it's going to change the landscape, etc. The reality is on the ground, it hasn't. So the question is, why would procurement get that money? There's a limited amount of money. There are other departments competing for that funding.
But also, what is it that you're doing in procurement that you can't just do on Copilot or ChatGPT? It's not specialist enough, and those platforms are brilliant at doing what they do.
Exactly.
I mean, there are people on Linked Up, who are looking. I mean, similar to Alchemie, and the sort of demise of Alchemie due to AI, and we'll come on to that later when Alex shows up. But there are people on LinkedIn trying to sell their wares and selling, here's my supplier relationship management matrix. I think there's just no way. People are not going to buy that. You can just put it into Copilot. Dear Copilot, write me a SRM framework using the following parameters, blah, 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 blah. Quarter of a second later, boom, there you go. And it trawls the internet, it finds everything. I mean, you might want to tweak it a bit, but it will find you something which is brilliant. And the stuff that I've done on AI it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And then it'll ask you to ask the next question as well. You might want to do the following, and it's brilliant.
And that's the point, I think, isn't it? Yeah. That you've got a lump of money in your business to invest. Yeah. You've got an IT function that really needs to beef up its cybersecurity. You've got $1 million. They're going to put the money into that. They're not going to put it into procurement because they'll look at it and say, well, in procurement, all that market intelligence, that writing an RFQ, that writing a letter even, well, you can use an assistant. So I wouldn't decry using AI and the expansion of AI in procurement, but I think it's not super duper system.
Yeah.
You won't get the money, procurement folk, because there are not because people don't rate you and want you. It's because there's bigger priorities in the business.
Yeah, a fully integrated AI model which is purely about procurement I just don't think it's necessary. The existing platforms will be quite happily able to provide that information. And it will be interesting in 2026. I mean, the markets are all talking about the AI bubble and will it burst? And, are we in a phase where everyone's getting overexcited about AI? And in fact, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said it himself. He said, yes, there's definitely a bubble here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. OpenAI is reportedly on track to make a $5 billion operational loss in 2025. So they may well have done that by now. Meta is expecting to spend $70 billion on AI, even though its main source of revenue is media advertising on social media. So it's the model doesn't quite work at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 26 because everyone's starting to use it now and it is brilliant. So it will be interesting to see how it all settles up.
That brings us back to something that we were predicting, which is the rise of the AI assistant,
EdBot,
for procurement folk. we do take the mickey a little bit about Daniel Barnes, and he writes a lot about AI.
Your mate Dan.
Okay, but and it's very much it's going to happen tomorrow, today, it's going to happen yesterday, it's happened, it's massive, la la la, in procurement. And obviously we're a bit cynical about that, but he's written a long piece on AI agents. But that's where I think we think it's going, which is the sort of virtual assistant. He's expanded on that in an article. It's really interesting because that's where it's happening in procurement, which is where you can go and, as you said earlier, Rich, you've got to put a sort of framework together for supplier relationship management. You don't need to write it yourself. And then he talks about agents being resident in your system, looking at what's happening. And again, some of simple tasks like, has something come in on time? Do I need more product? Are my internal customers satisfied? That can be done really easily with technology. So I think that's where the frontier is for procurement. And it's relatively low cost, isn't it?
And those of you who are of a certain age will remember Microsoft's brilliant online digital assistant called Clippy. Do you remember that crappy paperclip thing that used to appear? And everybody, after 3 weeks, switched it off because it was so bloody annoying. There is one thing that actually, just talking about more news, and this was from our good friend Mark Sherwood-Edwards, friend of the show, from Oh Lordy. And I think this might cause a problem for AI. So he's talked in a recent post on Oh Lordy about Enshittification. And he talks about a book which is actually called Enshittification, Why Everything Suddenly Got Worse and What to Do About It, by Cory Doctorow. I think that's how you pronounce his name, which is all about the degradation of quality and experience of online platforms. So that's the only thing I can think that might spoil AI. Enshittification, that the platforms decide, unfortunately, Grok is too good or Copilot is now too good, so we're going to downgrade the actual user experience and the functionality of the existing Copilot until you start to pay your $8.99 a month. So that may well happen. And, you know, we've seen that happen over the last couple of years, the Google experience. I mean, I'm an Android user, and recently Google changed the way you could edit photographs. So it didn't allow you to do it as well as you used to be able to do it. And there was outcry on the Android community, and they've now put that function back again. It was about perspective editing. Facebook, you know, is the same. We've talked about it. And Amazon as well. Amazon is starting to get a bit shit. They've stopped being able to deliver into our letterbox, for example. It's just like they'll deliver anywhere but into the letterbox. Just chuck it in the garden, that'll do. It's just amazing. So making more profit at the expense of the user experience. Enshittification. That's word of the week.
Interesting, isn't it, Rich, there? Because I was watching something on the TV the other day about the rise of home deliveries and not going to the shops anymore.
Yeah.
And they're saying that some of the companies now are looking at how many returns you make, and they're going to charge you. So if your return level is over 70% of what you receive, they're going to start charging for returns at £2 or £3. So you can see that monetization coming back in, whether it's ChatGPT or Grok or whatever.
And their actual model drives that behavior. So, for example, I think it's John Lewis. There's a few of them where you only get free delivery if you spend over 80 quid or something. So what you do is you buy 4 items. You only want one, but you buy 4 and you get free delivery. Then you send 3 of them back. Brilliant.
There you go. There's a hack. You heard it here, folks.
Yes, that is your online delivery hack from Procurement Says No. Massive carbon footprint because we're sending everything back. Brilliant. Anyway, more news. I've got a couple more items of news. And I see in the green room that Alex is here, so that's marvellous. So we'll move on to Alex in a bit. But here's some news. And some news from Supply Chain Dive. This is from Lauren Deppen. Jim Beam, the Kentucky distillery, is pausing production as bourbon and whiskey makers struggle with a drop in consumption, particularly in the US. Jim Beam will use a 1-year pause to make enhancements to its property in Kentucky. The site's visitor centre and bottling and warehousing units will remain up and running. The news comes as declining alcohol consumption pushes some of the biggest spirit makers to close plants or lay off workers in the US.
Wow.
There are an estimated 16.1 million barrels of bourbon sitting in aging barrels, most of which will be ready to be bottled around 2030. Distillers are working to reopen trade negotiations with countries, including Canada and Ireland, to offload some of the product because exports were hit hard, funnily enough, in 2025 due to tariffs and White House policies, with shipments of American distilled spirits down 9% in the second quarter compared to the prior year. Amazing.
Have you seen all of the offers on flights to the US? I don't know whether you've been getting this, but I'm being inundated.
Come to the US, please.
Yeah, because of travel numbers, and I'm getting advertising on social media to go to Florida and various other places because I think there's been quite a hit on travel to the US. So if you want a cheap holiday, folks, albeit it's quite expensive in the US, I think.
It's all the tariffs they've put on everything.
Yeah, but there's a flight. The flights are cheap.
More news.
The other bit of news, it looks likely that European defence spending taken as a whole is going to be bigger than the US defence spending value.
Wow. Amazeballs.
So quite a shift. Defence procurement priorities. The German Ministry of Defence expects to clear 68 procurement proposals above the 25 million euro mark in the first half of 26. Lots and lots of activity in defence. So, folks, there's the sector to be in. If you're that way inclined, it's big growth area.
Must give a call to BAE Systems.
You must ring BA Systems and get a job, Rich. They need you. They need you to help with all this activity. So, yeah, lots happening. And then, on a really dull note, the Scottish Devolved Authority have bought into the UK Procurement Act.
Oh, excellent.
And now they will ride off the back of those framework agreements.
Great.
That nobody rides off. Yeah, so that'll make a massive difference.
That's all about efficiency, effectiveness, and good old value for money.
And then to finish, this made me laugh. Jacobs buys PA Consulting for $1.6 billion. Made me laugh because in the UK, Jacobs crackers are a brand of cheese biscuit. So Cheese Biscuit Company has bought PA Consulting.
Are you sure it's not Jacobs, the construction consultancy business?
No. It's more cheese on your cheese biscuit.
You definitely think it's Jacobs crackers. I think you might be wrong there, Ed. I think that might be fake news. I've got one last piece of news, another piece of sad news from the American retail businesses. Victoria's Secret, where Ed gets all his undercrackers, features merchandise glut from ocean freight shift. The retailer is shifting to maritime shipping instead of air freight as a way to reduce costs against tariff increases, which is now increasing inventory levels. Victoria's Secret expects a net tariff impact of $90 million for fiscal year 25, which concludes at the end of January 26, with 65 million affecting the fourth quarter of the year. And it's therefore decided to move shipments away from air to ocean freight to help lower costs. In 2022, they made a modal shift after supply chain costs rose 300 million due to their reliance on air freight. So it's just getting worse and worse and worse. In addition to adjusting their bras, Victoria's Secret is raising prices and diversifying its sourcing to offset tariffs through sourcing changes, which will not happen quickly. They source goods from Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Mexico, Indonesia, India, Egypt, China, Cambodia, and Bangladesh. So it's bad news for bras and whiskey in America.
It's pants.
So there you go.
They didn't say they were bringing it back to the US then. They just said, we're going to try and cut costs elsewhere to offset the impact of tariffs. We're not going to actually bring it back into the US to manufacture.
We're going to reduce the shipping costs by taking longer to do it, which means the customer service will probably be lessened. They're going to therefore end up with a big increase in inventory probably, and they'll probably reduce the quality of the garments. So everyone's a winner.
Nice. Race to the bottom then.
Race to the bottom, yeah, your phrase.
Yeah, race to the bottom. And it absolutely it applies in the knicker business, doesn't it? Victoria's Secret, in a race to the bottom. Could be a strapline.
Boom. And on that bombshell, that's the news. Right. So now it's time to introduce our special duper guest, because he's arrived. Alex from Alchemie Network. Yay! Whee! Hello, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you, guys. Loving life. Difficult decision we made at the end of last year, but from a personal perspective, I'm sleeping better, and I'm finding things to fill my day. You know, instead of writing articles and commenting on other people's articles and going live, much as I enjoyed that, you need listeners at the other end to make it work, or you end up just talking into a hole.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for our listener, this is the end of Alchemy, which we are going to come on to in a little bit, but it isn't about Alex finally quitting his cocaine habit, just for you, so you're clear. Although the impact, I'm sure, would be the same.
Not going to give that up.
Anyway, How the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm enjoying semi-retirement more now that I've got some time. But no, loving the area. It's a bit cold at the moment. I had to wear a jumper last night
Oh, hell.
when we ate outside. So it's
God, it must be awful.
it's terrible.
I only wore shorts and t-shirt last night when I went for a walk in 2 degrees.
It's 24 today, but I think it may drop to around 16 tonight. So
Oh, my God. How do you cope?
not very welcoming.
Oh.
That's a bit like my son who's living in Hong Kong. He's been living in Hong Kong for about a year. He sends me pictures of people in coats, and it's like 25 centigrade.
It's what you're used to.
Yes.
When we lived in Singapore, the day that we were able to wear jeans all day was the day we knew we are now properly integrated into Singaporean life. I am wearing jeans and I am not sweating like a pig.
So I am actually wearing jeans as well.
Are they your procurement says no jeans? Your procurement says no canvas pants.
Yes, yeah, fully branded. I had them made as a sample just for today.
He has as well, ladies and gents. Look at him. Look, that's fantastic.
So Alex, what do you find time to do, given that you've got loads of servants in your neck of the woods? People filling your car with petrol. You've got people washing your car multiple times per week to get the slight sheen of dust off. I only wash my car about once a year, by the way. And then you have somebody helping the home. So what are you doing? Is it just a hedonistic Middle Eastern lifestyle that you're now leading?
I haven't missed a day swimming. So I go swimming every morning. Thankfully, it's heated, so that's good.
Oh, shush.
Going to the gym, minimum 10,000 steps a day, and just enjoying what Dubai and the region has to offer. So we're using it as a base. We visited Ras Al Khaimah, we visited Fujairah, we visited Ajman and Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, off to Bahrain in a couple of months' time, which will be nice. And our travels are more east now, so we booked Phuket in June. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Very nice. Well, I'll tell you what, you're looking terrible on it, Alex. I mean, he's tanned, he's lost weight, he's looking gorgeous, everybody.
Very white teeth as well.
It's just an age thing as you get older out here. As you tan, everything else looks brighter.
Even his wit.
So Alex, just quick potted history on your career leading up to Alchemie.
I was going to say, actually, because when you've been doing Alchemie, you do the introductions and everything, but you don't actually talk about yourself, and neither does Harold. So let's hear a little bit more about Alex. Who is Alex Jennings?
Yeah, but not a massive ego trip, though. Not too long, just like modest, but you know.
Well, you've got 30 seconds.
40 years in procurement. I chose procurement when I was 16, following my apprenticeship with GE, and a plotted career up until about 23 years ago in procurement, where I said to the CEO, I'm ready to become CPO, and he said, you're not ready. And he sent me to sales for 6 years, where I ended up becoming VP of sales and marketing. And I was sitting in front of some incredible procurement teams every day. And it was like going back to school for me. Watching how Heineken and Carlsberg and AB InBev and Coca-Cola operated. And after 6 years, he came back and said, look, you're now ready. We'd like you to come back from the dark side to be CPO. And then I was group CPO of a couple of companies for the next 14 years. And then I decided a couple of years ago that enough's enough, I'm going to retire. Then I got bored. And that's when the Alchemie started. Lots of reasons behind it, but yeah, boredom was the biggest one.
So there's no other inspiration than boredom. I was just thinking because there wasn't really much else out there that did what Alchemie does, really. I mean, I remember when we found out about it, and Ed was so excited. He's on the ceiling about it with excitement. I just thought it was some bizarre procurement cult where you burnt people at the stake. But so, what was the main inspiration? Do you think you spotted a gap in the market? I presume.
I mean, it started but I did a little bit of consulting work, and I thought, when I was CPO, you've got a whole raft of people that support you in decisions, that educate you where you need to be educated, and that keep you advised. When you're an independent consultant, you're expected to be the oracle on every question, and clearly I'm not. So I wanted to create something where we could help each other, where we could offer advice, where we could ask questions, and people come up with the answers. And that was the premise behind it. It wasn't a get rich quick scheme, because I didn't. It cost me a fortune, and I'll be paying for that for a while. But it was really to try and connect the procurement community. I was a bit disappointed with other things that were going on. I was a little bit disappointed with SIPS at the time, that it wasn't filling that gap and it wasn't answering those questions. But I've also seen, like you have over the last 12 months, Ben starting to change things. So that gap that was there is now they're stepping back into, and they're doing a better job. But that was the reason, behind it.
Yeah. How long did it take you to kind of set the whole thing up? When we first looked at it, it was like a fully formed, fabulous looking site. All the functionality appeared to be there from day one, from my recollection.
From start to finish, from when we went live, probably 9 months. We had to do it properly. So we also had the foundation, which we wanted to set up as a charity where we could start connecting with charitable needs in procurement. And that's not easy. If you want to set up a charity in the UK, there are a number of hoops that you have to jump through. And legal costs for that were close to £10,000 in setting it up.
Wow.
But our donations during the whole life of the Alchemie Network were probably less than 1,000. So it didn't come close to washing its face. But you've got to do these things properly. And Harold was the creative force really behind building it.
Yeah.
And did a fantastic job. And we didn't stop developing it. So as things worked, as things didn't work, we would chop and change. As the members would give us feedback on, we don't like this, we like that, we'd look to change. And we reached probably at its peak in March last year, 12,000 member contributions a month, which you could say is a strong community. But then it started to fall away, and we can come on to some of the reasons behind that.
So that initial strong growth, and there were lots of uptake. I mean, from a standing start, 2 or 3 months, wasn't it? You'd got to 12,000. When you were looking back from Alchemie Towers, what were you thinking at that point? Wow, tomorrow the world, it's kind of thing.
Look, the objective was to become a procurement alternative, really, to LinkedIn, because I hate it with a passion. I hate the way they control what you see. I hate the way they control who sees what you post. I think that's disappointing, to be honest, that the algorithm chooses to do that. We didn't have an algorithm, apart from the last thing that was posted was the last thing you'll see. But they do hide what you post.
I have noticed Peter Smith, everybody's procurement friend, Peter Smith, is becoming more and more crazy and outspoken in his posts. He's posting stuff now that is quite, I don't know, what's the word, inflammatory? I don't know. Some of it is. It's quite interesting. He's obviously trying to buck the algorithm and see if he can get more views. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's just become outlandish because he's not in the corporate world.
Yeah. True. Yeah, could be, couldn't it?
Yeah. The main reason behind why we started Alchemie, I love procurement, and we wanted to try and give back. But if people don't want what you're offering, then you have to accept that at some stage.
And in the heady days back, when it was really building, you've mentioned SIPS, obviously, but at the time, I think SIPS was, we used to laugh and joke about SIPS, particularly their news page, which was always out of date. That's all changed now with Ben, as you mentioned. But who were you considering as your competition? Did you see anybody else coming up from the wings in terms of competition, and as the idea formed, and then later, I guess, as it was up and running?
There were similar communities that existed, but quite regionalized. And there are still some very active groups. It's strange what WhatsApp groups seem to do quite well. You have some communities on LinkedIn with 300,000 members but zero content. I don't understand why someone wants to be a member of something with zero content, but they do join. It's a strange world we live in, to be honest, about what interests people and what doesn't.
We've mentioned Grok a couple of times already today. So Ed and I were going to start a new Grok-based community called Naked Procurement, but we've knocked that on the head now, obviously. But we wanted you to be part of it.
I'd have been up for that. You could use the pictures I've already sent, to be honest. But
so the nascence of the idea behind, or the principle behind Alchemie Network, is about sharing the love in procurement, sharing knowledge, etc. Do you think part of the problem isn't just AI, and you can ask questions of your AI solution, whichever one you want it, whether it's Grok or whatever, or ChatGPT? Do you think it's also about time?
Yeah, so I think we're competing for time with one thing. And you've got, do you want to go into Alchemie and read an article about energy pricing in North Africa? or do you want to scroll TikTok and Twitter and read rubbish? Is a question.
There's this thing about I can only concentrate for 7 seconds and I have to watch video. It's very odd. I mean, we were talking earlier about our blog that we do. I don't know how many readers we get of our blog, but I imagine if we did a 7-second TikTok of our blog, it would probably get more viewers, wouldn't it?
The social media platform is driving what you look at, isn't it? When people are looking at TikTok or whatever, they're just getting an inane amount of videos of stuff that the algorithm thinks that they're interested in.
I also think it tells you something though about society. So I think as a leader, you can learn from the people that want to be leaders. You can learn from the people just joining procurement because they have a different outlook on life. And we think that that learning process should go up and down the chain. That was a principle that we had. A lot of senior people don't want to be part of a community where they're being asked a question by somebody in Uganda. I think that's pretty sad, but it's a reality, I'm afraid. And it's like, what's in it for me syndrome. So we learned a lot about, I think, how society operates because we wanted to connect those people in areas of the world that wanted to learn procurement from leaders in other areas of the world. But there was a reluctance, I think, by a lot of people, and some people did a fantastic job. I'm generalizing here, but there are some people that I want to be part of a CPO club. I don't want to be spending my time talking to people that are asking questions that bore me.
Talking to oiks.
Yeah, so the principle was built around maybe there's a different view of society. So I learned a lot about how people behave as well, I think. So if you look at something like Procurement Leaders, it's a great, fantastic community, but it's very much based around satisfying the C-suite of procurement. And we wanted to be something different that would go up and down. There wasn't an appetite really to feed that. People giving off of their own time to satisfy.
That's quite sad, isn't it?
Wonder if that's either about the sort of human condition, I don't want to do that, or whether it's just that people have less free time.
Yeah.
If you go pre-digital age and all that, whether you got more people talking to other procurement folk at conferences or whatever and sharing their experience and saying, I'll pick up the phone or whatever, because they had less distractions, or because there are a lot of distractions in life these days, aren't there? And there's the work, and I think people just don't want to do other stuff, extracurricular stuff. Is that right? Or is it just people are a bit selfish?
I prefer your story, to be honest, than the selfish. I'm a bit of a romantic, so I hope that's the case. And actually, to satisfy that, the hundreds and hundreds of, when we announced it's finishing, the hundreds of messages that we got from people saying, this is terrible, I loved it, and then you ask them, well, where were you then?
Yeah.
So maybe it is about time, because people said, look, I'm really going to miss this, but you didn't miss it when it was there, or you did miss it when it was there. So maybe it is more about time and apportioning, and it was a global thing, so time zone didn't affect either. So communication between someone in Canada and someone in Singapore is not easy. So when do you put the show out, and when do people watch it? I think it's a mixture of all of those things. I think you're right, that we are at huge demand now for our time, and it doesn't finish when you walk out the door either. And it might finish in France, where it's illegal for them to email you over the weekend, but it doesn't elsewhere in the world. And you never stop. The Alchemie was set up for someone to ask a question and then someone to go off and either answer it or do research and come back with an answer. AI has changed so much over the last 12 months, and I know you guys talk about it. But for answers to questions, and now I want to ask a question about what is happening to copper prices. What is the cause of this? What's the outlook for this? Who are the key suppliers? Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, 0.3 of a second later, you've got the full answer, and then you can ask the stupid questions as well, can't you? And there's no stupid questions; it'll just give you an answer. Yeah, and then it'll say, "Do you want to dive deeper?" And it's fantastic, isn't it? It's a fantastic resource.
Yeah.
So when did you start to see the slowing down of uptake?
Yeah, so it probably started in March last year.
Right.
And when we started, I don't think people were using AI as they are today. So we saw a high usage of people asking questions and connecting with articles. But another thing that you find is people live off a drug of likes and comments. And if you go on the Alchemy and post something and you get 10 comments or 10 likes, from a community perspective and a percentage perspective, that might be huge. But on LinkedIn, or linked up as you call it, you might get 50, which is better, which is real, which is people clicking on it to say I'm connected with that person, or are they using an automated system to go and like posts. I mean, there are systems out there that say, I want to connect with these people in this group, go like these posts. Things like Meet Alfred.
Yeah.
So how much of that is real on those articles? But people live off the drug of, it's gone viral, I got 80 likes. It's like, is that all you're interested in? So I don't know.
From our podcast perspective, I get loads of people reaching out to me from Bangladesh saying they'll promote my podcast.
Yeah.
And I go, prove it. And I say, we don't want made up downloads. And then we engage one organization. I said, yeah, you do it for 24 hours, prove to me it works, but I'll look in the background. And they were all made up.
Yeah, they were all downloaded in one location, like Texas or somewhere.
And there's a huge amount of that going on.
Yeah.
Huge amount, much more than anybody thinks, I suspect. Influencers are doing the same. They're paying somebody, and then you make money from it, from the monetization behind downloads. It's a very, very screwy world, I think.
It is. I mean, if I posted on LinkedIn that I'm interviewing Ed and Rich, the reach of that would be controlled by LinkedIn. And it might be that 500 people get to see it. And I have 21,000 followers, so only 500 of them get to see it. If I post, I'm leaving for Dubai, or 30,000 people get to see it. Now, if that said company says, well, why don't you boost it and pay us £50? All of a sudden, 70,000 people get to see it. So it is a world where what we see and who sees what we post is controlled, and that's how they monetize it. I mean, it is their business model, so why not? But yeah, we don't want to be part of that. You either want to be part of the community and support it, or you don't. That's why we never had a pay model. And it's interesting that ours was free, and we were paying all the costs. We tried to make it wash its face through sponsors, which it didn't, but it is what it is. If people pay for something, they're more likely to use it. And that's a weird world, that if I pay for something, I'll use it on a regular basis. If it's free, well, I don't need to use it because it's free. I'll look at it next week.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It becomes more valuable as a resource if you're paying for it. So did you not think, the hard decision to close the thing down, was there a discussion about, do we move to a subscription model? Or
I think we had to answer a lot of fundamental questions about, is there a demand for what we're offering? And I think we came to the answer that there wasn't. It had been superseded in a fantastic way by other models. SIPs are back in the room and doing a great job. And I'd rather support SIPs from the outside really than spend 60 hours a week writing stuff that people don't want to see.
Yeah.
We gave it a good shot, and we have zero regrets. We're very proud of what we did and what we learned, to be honest. So both myself and Harold, Harold's a fantastic guy, and I'm so glad that we got to work together during that period. We don't look back at in any way apart from with pride. Really, we built something, and we believe it was a success. But it's also time to draw a line under this.
Yeah. Is there anything you would have done differently, do you think? With having a consultancy business, I often get clients going, well, can't you do that activity for free? Will you provide an outsourced procurement service for free and just take the money off the savings that you make, for example, on the gain share basis? And I say, no, I'm not doing it for free, because you won't value it. You won't put the effort in to support me, so it'll take 8 weeks because there's no commitment from your end. I won't say it as bluntly as that, but that's what I'm thinking. So is there anything that you think might have been done differently to make it different? Or do you think the world's just moved on?
Yeah.
I think we made it exclusive for partners in certain areas. So we only had one consulting firm. We only had one technology partner because we wanted them to commit to delivering as well. I think we'd have made a stronger request on them to bring more value to it. I mean, I think some of them were using it as a just in case. So if this takes off, I want to be part of it rather than being part of the journey. Or we'd have made it so that anybody could have been a partner, and we'd have just had badges all over the screen saying we are sponsored by 300 different companies, and and maybe you could have then spent money on advertising, but we didn't spend money on advertising because we didn't have it.
Yeah.
But the the technology was costing us tens of thousands a year, so it's not a zero cost adventure. There has to be a left and a right to that balance sheet, and it wasn't. It was out of kilter, let's say.
So that experience of what you've done over the last 12, 18 months, Alex, and this learning that you've got and the technology that you've built and et cetera, what's next? Can you reuse any of this, or what's the next thing for you? Or is it, as Ed said earlier, you're heading off into the sunset now?
No, I loved every minute of it. I've never built a business before, and all of the work that we did, the pre-meetings, the marketing, the design, and those late nights.
Yeah.
Who knows what's coming down the line, but I'm going to be a bit more exclusive with my time. I came out here to retire, and really 60, 70 hours a week writing stuff for Alchemie isn't really retirement. I was probably busier than I've ever worked, and paying out of myself rather than paying myself to do that. So no, I think I'll be more selective. If someone wants me to help them do something, then I'm available if needed. It'll be selective. It'll be for things that I believe in, and not just for the dollar, because I don't need that.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Alex Jennings. You have been a wonderful super guest star. And thank you for the support that you gave to Procurement Says No over the last 12, 18 months as well, because we've enjoyed Alchemie and we've enjoyed being part of it, of the network, and we've enjoyed the fact that you've posted about us on the network as well. So thank you very much. Round of applause. Yay!
And I will continue to do so. I think there is an educational part as well as a fun part to your podcast. You have to read through it, but it's somewhere there you can learn stuff.
It's somewhere in there. There's a nugget.
So I continues to be on my listen, and please continue, guys. Love it. Loving your work.
Cool.
And listen to this episode because you're on it.
Yes.
I will do.
Apparently, it's a very good one.
Yeah.
Cheers very much.
Thanks, Alex.
We'll see you soon, Alex.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That was exciting, wasn't it? Having Alex on. And best of luck with everything he's doing. And Harold, although Harold didn't show up, which is a shame because Harold's quite a good laugh.
Yeah. And he is the architect.
He is the prime architect, yes.
Sounds like some sort of mafia role, doesn't it? I'm the architect.
Yes. So that's it for Procurement Says No, episode 40. We hope you had lots of fun. And there were plenty of nuggets of insight in that episode, Ed.
Absolutely.
Right, I'm going to go off and write another blog. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, folks.
Although this is not on video, listeners, Alex is looking hot. Not as in hot and bothered.
Yeah, I am actually wearing my Procurement Says No grey T-shirt.
Ooh, one of the limited edition.
Yeah, I can't believe Richard and Ed aren't wearing theirs, but there you go.
They're all in the wash. I should have put my black edition, my unique, one only black edition.
Judas Priest edition.
Yes.
Yeah, I have white and grey, and I'm regularly rocking them around Dubai, selling your wares.
That must be why we're getting no downloads
in Dubai.
Yes, it is the sanction busting Procurement Says No, because we're still being downloaded in Russia.
Oh, sanction busting. I wonder where.
Yeah, I think we can look that up.
I think we're being downloaded directly into the Kremlin.
Yes, let's put a virus in there.
Who knew that Procurement Says No is full of Western political insight and we're being spied on by the Russians?
Perhaps they're doing it to study the breakdown of the Western civilization.
Yes, we're getting there.